Welcome back to another episode of the Game Yappers podcast. Today is October 3rd, 2025, and back at
Ooh,
it
spooky
again.
month.
Spooky month with Spooky Mike.
Yo, I'm so scary. Ooh.
He frightens me every night.
Yeah.
I can't sleep.
Ooh.
But tonight we're not talking about fear. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
We're talking
We're
about
not here to scare you just yet.
anger.
Oh, yeah.
I have been extraordinarily mad in the short term. Why? Very recently, I finished up a game by, I believe, let me take a look real quick. ASCII Soft, and published by Devolver Digital. Katana Zero, released in 2019. And I was really excited. I was finally able to play it. I had just learned over the summer that the game was finally getting some long-awaited DLC, but I didn't know exactly what that meant until I finally sat down and played the game. And I was having a pretty solid blast. It's a very short game. Let me reiterate that much. It is about, you can get through about everything in, honestly, 4 or 5 hours, and you can get like all of the secret content as well in around that time. It's a very fast game. You are going to complete this game quickly and learn the most difficult truth, that Katana Zero, its main story does not end in the game. The main story is still to be continued. And upon learning about this, I was extraordinarily mad because I was under the assumption that this game was finished, was ready to go, and I was so excited to see, I even thought the DLC was already out, but it was not out. There's no date for when the DLC is coming out. And I was distraught. I was so
So,
angry.
so a quick thing to ask though, because like usually with this sort of game, like being, as you explained, short, was there any like kind of replay ability value to it? Anything like secrets they do discover and whatnot? Or is it
Yes.
just okay?
There are some secrets, but they're very quick secrets. The unlocks are a little lore related, more so like
Mm-hmm.
codex tidbits that you learn fairly quickly.
Mm,
And there is the existence of a secret boss that I haven't gotten around to fighting yet.
okay.
And outside of the main scope of the game, when you finish like the main story, it's over. And I think that's like the most interesting part was the story. Because it is a game where you know very little and you slowly get tidbit after tidbit about what's going on. And by the time you do figure it all out, or at the very least, like understand the world, it's over.
Mm.
So I think Katana Zero is one of the flashiest, quickest, and most memorable of the, I guess, honestly, slice dice genre of games.
Yeah.
In the similar category as like Miami, Hotline Miami,
Mhm.
where you're going in, you're slicing, you're dicing, you are killing.
Yeah, and
Um,
shooting.
with yeah, actually, that is one. I will spoil this much. One of the jokes in the game is that you actually do get a gun, and it's like the
Oh,
first time you get a gun, and the first thing you do is you throw it at someone.
amazing.
Um, and so you are once again told you can't use guns.
Damn.
And I had to go. I was going down a little bit of a rabbit hole because one of the most crushing things about being a game developer is not just game development hells, but games that just end up being canceled, either in long development or sometimes referred to as vaporware.
Yeah.
Games that had massive funds with Kickstarters, games that were planned as sequels, or even worse, games that were just started, left to just rot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a
Like
tough pill to swallow.
it's unlike for per se like those episodic series games like as of recently the kind of genre of mascot horror, with those episodic series.
Yeah.
Like it kind of just sucks more with like games that are very enjoyable, but there was never any other continuation for it or any other support for it.
This
It's like,
the
yeah.
catalyst I've always seen is Half-Life 3 or just the
Oh yeah.
Half-Life series.
Oh yeah. Even though
Um,
we did get like a technically a dirt game, but
yes, but it didn't
but
finish the
it,
story.
yeah, it didn't really continue the story. It's more like a kind of like a prequel or a simultaneous like continuation to the second game sort of sense,
Yeah.
you know?
Valve came back after years, got the original writer, the original team, and
Hmm.
left me with a enjoy the retcon, come back later.
Yeah.
And since then, Valve continues to develop not Half-Life but Deadlock, which in all honesty I'm not mad about. It's more so this trend, or at the very least the precedent Half-Life set by creating a genre of episodic games never to be completed after decades, is a major worry for me with these games that come in and say to be continued. I think the biggest in the series right now, or in the mainstream, is Deltarune.
Oh yeah. Like for years we were waiting for what was it? Episode 3 question mark? And then also like 4 came out with it, right?
Yes.
So we were kind of waiting for that. Uh, Again, I've never played Deltarune, but I know some friends that really wanted the series to continue, and it did, but it still is not finished. So
Yeah. When the initial chapter 1 came out in around 2018, it came about and basically said we're doing like some episodic chapters with Deltarune, and we'll be releasing like chapters periodically.
yeah,
And the next chapter came out 3 years later. And
mm,
then I believe three more, actually, no, 4 years after chapter 2. Finally, in the year 2025, we finally get the combo chapters 3 and 4. Um, and again, they are great games. It's easy to get lost in the world, the music, the sound
the
design, the
character.
characters. I think are like some of the biggest highlights of the entire series are just like not just relatable characters, interesting characters. They have motives, they have depth, they want to like learn and expand.
Hmm.
But I always have to come back with the caveat to like people who I recommend like this game isn't done. This
Yeah,
game has no anticipated finish date.
yeah, like I think that's why for the most part when I play games that are most are early access and also episodic and they haven't finished yet, I kind of like leave it off till it's actually fully finished. For example, as of recently, Hades 2. Like I
Yes.
haven't played the I have again, I only ever played the demo and I have not seen anything else ever since. So I kind of wanted to wait for like the full experience and to actually like judge the entire package. So now that it's fully out, I'm going to get a chance to get it, play it, and experience it. Um, with things like Deltarune, however, I'm still kind of waiting off because, like, as much as the memes I've seen online and things that I barely get at the moment, besides like some because I did play Undertale fully,
Yes.
um, besides some references and characters, I still want to like wait till it's actually finished before I make any sort of judgment or review over it. So
That's 100% fair. I mean, I remember playing like chapter 1 years and years and years ago, and I remember going back and trying like chapter 2
mhm.
because those 2 chapters were free. The newest chapters are $20, and like the future like the game is again waiting.
Yeah, it is waiting
It
game.
is a waiting game. You're going to wait, and I'm going to sit and wait.
Yeah, at this point, it's like now I, w- I don't know how they're gonna. I'm fairly sure they might just not, like once you bought the game, you're just gonna have to wait for the next update, right?
About so, and I'm going to give you the only spoiler, which is that there is a tentative date for
Hmm.
the next chapter,
Okay.
and it's slated for next year.
Mm, I see.
Um, I I'm hesitant to say if that's the follow through, but I'm hopeful nevertheless because Deltarune currently is the best indie RPG on the market.
Hmm.
And I'm really excited to see where the team continues to deliver. But I also have to remember that with a micro team where the majority of not just the coding, but animation, character
Music.
writing, structure, music, sound effects, everything are
Hmm.
from one guy, Tony Fox. Or
Oh
Toby.
yeah.
Toby Fox. My apologies.
To- yeah. Tony Hawk.
Yes.
Hmm. Toby Fox.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm still eagerly waiting to see how everything's going to shape up
Mhm.
with the series.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the next chapters eagerly. Another series that I'm honestly also disappointed is going in the episodic chapter as well. Ina
Mhm.
Dream Barbecue,
Ah. I see.
which already was announced 4 years ago about, and then finally got released with a chapter 1 this year. It is a walking simulator where you get to meet crazy characters, crazy people, interact with them, learn their world,
Yeah.
and it's fun just to watch these wacky animations play out in front of me. Um, However, once the curtains close and they say, come back later, it sours. Like, hey, why I want more.
Yeah, I played through it because I've watched the animations on YouTube, and they were honestly, if the biggest comparison with Ina Dream Barbecue to any game is an old game called LSD Simulator, I believe, or
Yeah,
Dream Simulator. Yeah, LSD Dream Simulator. Hmm.
that's by comparison, like what it was always designed to like emulate
Hmm.
was just be a walking simulator where you just do weird things. You can, there's a lot of, as some may put it, a word salad of a script where things are being said, but their actual meaning is extraordinarily interpretive.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So don't sweat trying to define what nonsense most of the characters are talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Just I guess just enjoy the moment as if you were in a barbecue in a dream.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. Like I kind of just went into it being like, yeah, I'm gonna be on a weird trip. So,
You're gonna be on a bender of a ride, and a ride it has been,
mhm.
following every shenanigan with the team.
But yeah, I do agree. I did yearn more, and I'm fairly sure the team working on it, the lead guy, he they're working hard on it, especially with like I honestly like since it's like mostly voice acted, um you're there's also just like content creators around like the art sphere that are working on it and the indie game sphere as well.
There
So,
is a pretty sizable amount of people who are working on the team.
mhm.
Um, but even like they're currently sustained off of merchandise sales, not on like a actual paid budget. And I assure you, there are plenty of people who have and are willing to fund Ina
Yeah.
into the
Yeah, like
future.
here just to give you guys some clear uh ideas of what it is. It is a free game, at least for episode 1, but there is a you can spend $10 for extra stuff. For a art book, I think I think there was a soundtrack, but I don't remember, and some honestly like kind of just discoverable secrets in the game itself. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's worth
And that's
playing
just one.
because it's free. It's about an hour to 2 hours of pretty solid content.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're a fan of the Ina series, and as you mentioned, I forgot to bring this up, but Ina is a based on the YouTube web series by creator Joel G,
Yep.
um, who was the main designer and like animator of the series for like the longest time, and still is at the helm of like creating the series.
Yeah, and even then, I kind of like knew before the game even was announced. I kind of wanted it to be a game because one of most of the animation he makes, it looks like they're playing a game.
Yeah,
Like you're watching a play.
Ina's always been a surrealistic
Hmm.
take on old 90s games
Hmm.
and fictionalized them into a bizarre world
Oh yeah.
where anything and everything has the possibility of just talking and existing.
Hmm.
Um, I would recommend starting from the first episode free on YouTube and just like listening into the nonsense that goes on.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how the team continues to progress this
I want Sir
series.
Pello to be the bus again.
He is the bus, and I am waiting for more bus action.
I'm the bus.
I am the bus. He speaks certainly 5 times louder than any other voice actor in the game.
Yeah. But yeah. Uh,
Ina's another
Besides,
like series that that is in episodes.
yeah, before continuing with like our main topic that next, I do want to segue a slight bit into uh, not a game that is episodic, but a game that has boomed because of the I would call it the dopamine rush genre. And that is Megabonk.
I've been seeing Megabunk on the latest and trending tab for Steam, but I'm afraid I know very little outside of that.
I'm gonna tell you something. Like I have seen their development before it went pretty viral. And honestly, I was impressed with like just the simplicity of it all because essentially it is um 3D Vampire Survivors, but you take also the kind of like progression aspects of Risk of Rain 2.
Okay.
Hmm. So essentially, it's a mishmash of it, but you have multiple characters. They have their own thing to do, like with their kind of special weapons, and then you're basically killing enemies, leveling up, getting more upgrades throughout it, and that's it. But I think the difference is, unlike Vampire Survivors, there are like stages where you can go to the next stage, uh, in order to continue it
Okay.
the game. So.
I know like the what would it be? Like the survivors genre
Hmm.
has been a
Like,
particularly popular indie genre to capitalize on. I know the latest of the series I've played had been or just like a game similar to
mhm.
was Deep Rock Galactic Survivors.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's
Definitely.
made by the same team. It doesn't have nearly like the depth as a lot of other series, but I have been really enjoying the
Yeah.
just the amount of systems at play and just how much fun it can be to idle in the background too.
Yeah. Yeah, I played it. Yeah, it's basically is just take the aspects of Deep Rock Galactic but put it in a survivor game or action roguelike survival game. Uh which is funny because they are developing a roguelike Deep Rock Galactic, which is basically Deep Rock Galactic but roguelike.
I'm interested to see how that because that's mainly the core team working on that. I believe it was a side team or
Mhm.
outsourced team that was the like the major developer for Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I still think they did a pretty solid job.
Yeah.
I just wish there were more modes to do comparative to like Deep Rock Galactic has like I think 8 different modes you can choose from.
Yeah, like just different kind of mission types and ever
Mission
so
types.
expanding as well because it's like they're mostly like kind of like seasonal things because there are some things that happen in the Deep Rock Galactic world and then you get like kind of like new missions and new stuff to play with
Yeah.
every now and then. So it's pretty cool.
And of course, Deep Rock Galactic is a very easy recommendation. It's hard to argue that it's probably one of the best like co-op survival
Oh
or just
yeah.
like shooter games to ever be released on Steam, and it's certainly worth the overwhelmingly positivity on Steam.
Oh yeah, very fun. Especially either by yourself or with friends. Mostly play with friends. It's just like a better experience that way.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
I
Just
would give it
like
a hard recommend.
Hellbender. Yeah.
As for I think kind of like in the same vein of games that have kind of been up and about. I was like reminiscing on one of the games I played long ago that was like initially crowdfunded but finally did get like a publisher, Psychonauts 2.
Oh yes. Oh my God. For a long while. I have been waiting for any announcements for Psychonaut 2. I knew it was crowdfunded, but I just didn't know if it's like actually going to be coming
Yeah, it took a
until it.
long time.
And honestly, that was worth it because I very much enjoyed Psychonauts 2. It's reminiscent of the first game, kind of like an odd continuation because there was the VR game in between
Yeah, it
as
was
well.
the canonical world of Psychonauts had already been a little messy with the introduction of a VR game that I
Yeah,
didn't
but
even know existed, and I'm
but
thankful they were able to play off of it well.
yeah, like they kind of just like, oh yeah, and then this kind of happens, and then it's like yeah, because essentially the VR game is pretty short.
Yeah, it was designed to be like a mini mission in between like the actual main game,
Hmm.
and I'm thankful that they were able not to like hyper focus on the game and more so just acknowledge it and not just kind of like ignore it because by the time you get into Psychonauts 2, it's a completely fresh breath of air, and
Yeah.
I think it's a much better take on mental health
Oh yeah,
in video
definitely.
games. I think the first
Because
game was able to do so extraordinarily well. Psychonauts 2 takes a far more human approach.
yeah, because in one, you're basically uh you're basically in a camp full of other kids with psychic abilities, but also like actual professional agents of that use psychic abilities.
Yeah.
And you for the most part, you weren't like going into the minds of like normal people. You're going into minds of like at least the latter half insane people.
Yeah, these are
Like
people who are nuts. Like the
yeah.
highlight being the milkman.
Yeah, the mil-
This is a
on
man who
I
is
I I
lost it.
I'll never forget the milkman level. Like, especially the line of "I am the milkman, my milk is delicious,"
I think
and
the
then
most
all
impressive
of
part
time.
of that whole like that whole sequence is that there's like this randomly generating like selection of text he can say. Like he is
Oh
going
yeah,
through his mind and is like saying that the top 10 richest families in the world control not only the milk distribution of everything, but are also in control of that knock on the back of my door. It's just like utter purely designed randomness.
yeah,
And
and
you literally
honestly,
get hunted by like fictional federal agents in that level.
yeah, it was so funny. Honestly, like, yeah, it's the most memorable one. I really do like the one with the luchador aesthetics,
Yeah,
and then
the level where you play as a an artist who's like, "Oh, my love, she walked away for another man." And then as you
yeah,
slowly unravel everything, the main protagonist of the series, Raz, comes to the conclusion that's like, "Wait, this is a relationship from like years ago and this
like
individual's
high school.
yeah, like they've you're an adult. You need to like walk away.
Move on.
You
Yeah,
quite literally need to move on." And he was like
like
an
you're
individual that couldn't.
yeah, like you really are just like dreading over some high school drama. So yeah, glad. Yeah, like essentially, Raz was just a back end therapist for the
Yeah.
most part, especially in the second game,
Oh
because
yeah.
yeah, as you mentioned, it does take more of a human approach because a good majority of the people that you go into the minds of, they're on surface mentally stable, uh except for quite a few towards the end, but on surface mentally stable, but they do have their own issues that they deal with in their own way. But sometimes you have to break things in order to find out the truth and whatnot.
And
So,
that's just a whole amount of fun. Just meeting all these people, learning about their lives.
hmm
Um, Even in like the sequel, just like how well they're able to keep the humanity of so many of these instances.
yeah,
They were literally talking about someone with like suicidal ideations, was just like had a drinking problem. They were talking
yeah,
about people with who are like on psychedelics. They're talking about just so many unique perspectives, and I
yeah.
loved every moment of it.
hmm
And it's certainly a fantastic game. Talking about now, knowing its history so much clear that people designed and worked on this game for years.
Oh yeah, like it is probably it still has like kind of like those familiar kind of attacks and movement that the first game had, but more refined, but also a little bit of extra things that just feels right. I my favorite part is the clairvoyance ability where you can look through the eyes of like NPCs in the game, and they do see you differently, and
Yeah,
it's probably the funniest thing ever.
people see you differently depending on the like people you go through. Some people see you as like a soldier. Some people see you as like a little kid. Some people are like really afraid. Some people just
Some
can't
people
even
just
like
look at you like bacon.
yeah, like straight up food.
Yeah. Even animals.
Um if you haven't already, give Psychonauts 1 and 2 a good spin and compare and contrast. I think one of the big things they learned is how differently like Raz acts in the first game comparative to the second. In the first game, he's a kid. He doesn't really care if he
Uh-huh.
blows up like a squirrel with his mind. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
In the second game, he recognizes that his abilities change people for the better and for the worse, and he needs to be extremely careful how he approaches people. And he even like, I think one of the big things is like one of the levels he jumps into a person's brain and they're like, why do you go in there? I didn't ask. Get out of there. And
Yeah.
like people are angry that he like you're snooping in on their thoughts without like consent. And like the entirety of the remainder of the game he asked like before like, hey, can I check your mind real quick? And people will be like, no. Oh, all right.
Yeah, like there are times where There are times, a lot of times where he's like, "Yeah, can I check your mind?" He's like, you
Sure,
know.
I'm at the fringes of my limit, so sure, go give a scrounge.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But yeah, it's like it's basically like because how powerful being a psychonauts is, you can use it for
for
evil.
good and specifically evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the most disturbing things of that game series is like straight up like
It's like the
people's
end.
minds were
Sort of.
literally being yoinked out, and it was just like people just like I'm hungry or whatever, just like
Oh
no
yeah, like the
thoughts.
brains,
The brains,
their literal brains like just being pulled out, and they're like, TV.
like brain dead nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my, it's so fun.
It is fun.
It
Give it
is
a
a
shot.
fun game. Do you want to
Give
hear
it.
some news or just like some I looked up that made me sad?
All right. All right.
That
I want to be set now.
they were developing a sequel for Prey 20, what was it, 2017,
Now
2016?
I'm upset.
And then Bethesda gave it the axe.
Now I'm very upset because I love the first Arcane Prey. Uh, very fun immersive sim. Uh, if you want to experience basically kind of like a I wouldn't call it a space version of BioShock, but essentially it kind of is in a way. Uh, yeah, try Prey. It's more so an immersive sim than like one of those
Like
action shooters.
yeah,
So.
like pure action shooters where you're leveling up just to get like bigger shotgun blast. You can do that,
Mhm.
but by its core, it's designed to be far more like an intellectually stimulating and thinking kind of
Yeah, like how
sim.
the yeah, like just like the XX, like there's multiple ways to get to point A to point B. In Prey, it's like there's multiple ways to, you know, uh, to get to point A to point B, but also multiple ways to actually screw up.
I think what really elevates Prey these days for me was always the level design. Dishonored had
Mhm.
like a really solid means of level design where there was very clearly designed ways to interact with the world. There was you could go through like the roof, you could go through just so many different means of navigation.
Yeah, Dishonored 1, very good. And God, at the time, because this came out the same time with Dishonored 1, Thief, like the kind of revamped version of it, everybody didn't like it because of the way they approach the kind of like exploration aspects of things. It felt to them, they say it felt too linear, and there's like only one answer to get through things. So, and unfortunately, the most optional part to like uh in the game was just how much you can steal things or how much people that you do not like knock out or kill.
The name of the
Unlike
game.
yeah, like uh unlike Dishonored, a lot of your action does matter towards the ending, and especially essentially like every part of the level that comes after. Because the more people you kill, more rats are gonna be out there the next time you visit the place.
Yeah, I think mainly because they got the actual like artist and like game designer from the Half-Life series. Prey or not,
Ah,
Dishonored had always been the game series
I
to
didn't know
remind
that.
me the most of like a Half-Life game, especially like Half-Life 2.
Okay, that's cool. I did not know that.
Rest in peace, shout out. He recently did died
Oh,
this year. Um but his legacy will not be forgotten just by the impact it had on like the gaming sphere.
mm-hmm.
Very few artists had like a similar philosophy as he did, and I
Mm.
am excited to see whenever we get some more info. Speaking about games that never release, whenever the information for Arcane's next game comes out, which is Blade,
Oh, yeah.
that was
I heard
teased
like
about
things about
three
it.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
um
I've heard about it, but I don't really know entirely too much. So,
yeah, Blade from Marvel Games Prey, the vampire killer that may or may not be a vampire as well, is getting like a
Mhm.
video game adaptation, and it's going to be set in like a vampire infested Paris.
Oh, that Blade. I was thinking
That
like
Blade.
just some. Okay, because I heard the name before that they were working on, but I didn't know it was like actually like Blade and the freaking vampire
The vampire
stories.
hunter from Marvel. Yes, him
Yeah.
with
Okay.
the synthy music and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that. You know him.
Yeah. 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 Now I know. Okay.
Yeah, there
Ah,
he's the
interesting.
because the last game that Arkane worked on was Deathloop.
Oh man.
I played Deathloop. One could say that I've never really played a game like Deathloop, but I'm also fair to point out that it's one of the games that I would even say like, man, I just played this. It's called Blueprints, where
Yeah.
you reset every day and you get a little further through
Mhm.
actions and these subplots. I think where the game kind of falls apart in its story is how little the characters really care or like are changed by the fact that they are basically immortal.
I've only ever heard like kind of meh things about Deathloop. I never played it. I never seen too much gameplay of it
The
either.
gunplay is interesting.
Hmm.
The actual gameplay loop is fine. Writing is not anything to write home about. Characters swear and are forgettable. And
Mm.
if you really want me to pull the plug in the whole kibosh on this, in the final sequence of the game, it's like, yep, we're also connected to Dishonored, and I'm like, cool.
Oh, really?
Um,
Huh.
I'm sorry, Mike, to just drop that cold water onto you. That this so heavy
I
spoiler,
mean,
but I don't
I
think
mean,
you were ever gonna play that game.
yeah, no, I've played at least Dishonored 1, 2, and then I forgot the third game's name, but I've played that one. Or but
Yeah,
like I didn't know it was like an actual kind of like connection to it. That's weird
yeah,
to
it
say.
isn't really well
Cuz
like
cuz the
spliced
thing
together.
Yeah, because the whole thing with Dishonored, I don't know, I forgot what was the aesthetic of Deathloop? Was it like steampunk like Dishonored?
No, it's really like almost like retro science fiction.
Huh. Okay, so I mean, it kind of makes sense maybe if future advance in technology, but the aesthetic of Dishonored was that it was steampunk, but they were using like this like ancient whale oil that they had to like
Yeah.
they kind of just, almost literally hunt to extinction, causing like the freaking what's it called, the outsider to be like, I'm kind of mad, but not really.
Yeah, we have an
I'm more
energy
so
crisis
into.
on our hands, however.
However, I'm kind of interested where you guys going, so I'm gonna give a few individuals this my power to fuck around and find out.
Yes, yes.
So,
I've never been like much to advocate towards what is it? Deathloop. It's a
mhm,
fine game. I think the most interesting part is the actual like visual design. The game looks awesome. It is almost like you pulled a 1960s or 70s interior magazine off of your like grandfather's shelf and it just came to life. Colors are
mhm.
oversaturated. People are so it's so colorful. It's probably the most colorful shooter I've seen since something like I guess in the modern sense Marvel Rivals.
Yeah,
But it just doesn't have a story worth
like
advocating for. Um
yeah, like I even then, like even if somebody tells me the story of Deathloop, I probably might forget it because you know it could be like just any other story or it's not that great.
it's fine.
Hmm.
It's all right.
It's not like a world record.
It's
So
not gonna hold your attention. It's not gonna like keep you up.
okay,
It's fine.
all right.
And I'm hopeful that the developers are able to kind of learn from Deathloop well enough and kind of branch out and make something a lot more unique.
Hmm.
because I think Deathloop certainly had great aspects, but it just didn't have anything to really say by the time the curtains end or like closed. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. What I'm
All
trying
right.
to say is another like here I'm going to shout out two crowdfunded games that are currently in limbo right now. I think crowdfunding, much like any independent sourcing platform, has its own fair share of like devices and stories of
Mhm.
people trying to make stuff and get plenty of money, but things just kind of like fall to the side. The
Mhm.
biggest of which I'm going to start with is Friday Night Funkin'.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I kind of understand because a good majority of why the game is somewhat alive to this day is the modding community.
Yeah.
Even though probably like a good majority of the modding community also is making malware out of it as well. So
Yeah, one of those developers made a game called Garn 47 and packaged it with a Friday Night Funkin' mod. So the people who designed these are not normal, but
yeah.
the initial
But
developers of Friday Night Funkin', I believe, got millions of dollars. Let me give you a concrete source
yeah,
for Friday Night Funkin'.
I'm not surprised since like a good amount of it's like because this is like they're reminiscing on the Newground days, but also it there's just a lot of memes and the meme culture and people actually like rhythm DDR games sort of deal. So
Yes, Friday Night Funkin' was able to get 2.25 million dollars
wow.
in its, I believe, 4 week campaign with
Huh,
nearly 60,000 backers. The good news
jeez.
is they are updating. Just recently in
Yeah.
July, they just mentioned that there's going to be a mobile port of the game, PC port, iOS, Android. It's going to
Okay.
be fitted with all the latest like free kitten caboodles, and it's going to launch for free and have a paid option ad free for $3.
Hmm.
Um, and there are over 400,000 pre-registered users for the mobile version as of right
Hmm.
now.
Dang.
Um, which is good. I'm thankful that well, some people are kind of like waiting for rewards. There, some of the like promises of the campaign are really wild. One of them quite literally said that they're going to have like you could have an actual physical copy
Oh, okay.
that was like playable on original PlayStation, like a
That
PS1 port.
yeah, no, that's
Actually, wait, did they
even with
actually?
them.
No, they didn't. They did not reach that goal. They
Okay,
were
yeah,
only able
because
to get
like
like a plus 10 week epilogue, but no, they were not able to reach some of the
yeah,
goals they had. Crazy.
because like with the amount of backers, like probably per maybe particularly like some of the ones for like on the high tier, let's say, that might get the physical copy. That's a lot. That's a lot, and that's a lot of money.
That is an enormous amount. I mean,
Like
$2.25 million is enough to run away with.
yeah, like you can basically support the game however you want with that sort of money, you know?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about like keeping the lights on when you kind of have that much money, especially if you already have like a solidified plan in place to keep revenue in, especially if like in a mobile version that starts at $3 or starts it with free and then just
Yeah,
has like monetary increments for more.
yeah. Like honestly, you know, the milestones for Friday Night Funkin' impressive, but man, I think again, it is as of recently as you told me, the game is still this game is still doing okay. It's just that again, it's heavily more so supported by the modding community of
Yeah,
it. So because every
it's
now
been
and then
four
you would
years. Wow.
yeah, every now and then you'll see like a new sort of mod, especially like if there's like any recent kind of like pop culture music that just popped up and they just want to put in the game, you know?
Another campaign that kind of disappeared and it was just kind of like, let me see if they've actually updated. They've given any updates. Okay.
Hmm.
It's still in development, but one that's also just like was really heavily um talked about, Crow's Sworn.
What is that?
Crow's Sworn is a game that exists because of Hollow Knight. It is very clearly a Hollow Knight derivative. From the
Okay, so
aesthetic to the mood to the lighting, it is a Hollow Knight like game.
let me look that up real quick.
And
Crowsworn?
Crow Sworn,
Okay, I see.
SWORN, and the game
Oh
origin.
yeah.
Yeah, this is if you look this up right now, it is
This is
one to
like
one.
one of yeah, no, this is like one of the many hey, let me copy your homework, but not exactly sort of games, you know?
Yeah, either with the backer pledge of it started with only what is it? They only wanted 125 Canadian dollars. They got 1.25 million Canadian. That's solid money. The difficulty
Yeah.
is we live in a post Silk Song world.
Oh yeah. Like Silk Song is out, guys, okay?
Silk Song is out. Silk Song is going to most likely win Indie Game of the Year. You guys need to start like coughing up some updates or just at the very least make the game more unique. Not just be like a clear derivative, but have its own identity, its own like 2 feet to stand on. It's fine to like take clear inspirations. We wouldn't have Quake without Doom. It's more
Oh,
so like buckle up your shoes now. You're in the big leagues now. You're fighting against like your own inspiration.
yeah. Like I would understand that if this was like popped up a bit more, even though it's kind of like a carbon copy and it seems like a carbon copy in a way, with us Hollow Knight, if it came out before Silk Song, you know? But now, as you mentioned, post Silk Song, this is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to like even try to like get out. Is there a demo for it right now?
Perhaps. I have seen like I believe some demo gameplay from like 2 years ago.
Okay, but yeah, it is gonna be very
Yeah, they are
tough
fighting an
to like,
uphill battle now.
cause
Um,
like looking at it, it looks cool. Like it's more like you're playing as some sort of like plague doctor wielding guns and swords and whatnot. So
yeah, and I think for a lot of people that's just enough. They wanted something to play in between the 7 year long wait between Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight to Silk Song.
yep.
The bad news is that time has come and gone.
Oh yeah, it is. Anybody that's going to try to release their Metroidvania, especially like inspired by Hollow Knight, I would say Godspeed because man, you will be competing against one of the biggest things out there right now.
The I think it is the biggest indie game, or at the very least, like most anticipated indie game ever.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, good luck. Good luck. They're gonna need it. And I think
Oh yeah.
as we're kind of waning down, I do want to reminisce on one last game. I remember we may shortly mentioned a little while back the Game Awards. I
Hmm.
believe back in 2019, a game was announced by the developers over at Campo Santo, who developed Firewatch.
Hmm.
Their next title, named Valley of the Gods. And It was going to take place in 1910 Egypt. Twin sisters are looking for an ancient relic in a pyramid and find something even scarier. And over the past 7 years, that game has gone completely offline. The reason? Campo Santo was purchased by Valve.
Okay. Huh.
And most of the developers that were working on the game went off to go work on games like Half-Life Alyx. And what would I say? They also go off to work on games like Deadlock, or just like work on the Steam side completely. And Valley of the Gods has remained an elusive game since.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a hallmark of a lot of games today that not only show the promise, but eventually turn into the indefinite. Because right now the Steam page is still up for Shadow of the Gods, and its joking release date would be before December of 2029.
Dang.
I still think there's a possibility of it coming out, but with every year next, it's not looking so. And I think as time moves forward, I'm not like gonna weep about Valley of the Gods. I think there are certainly people who will. I think there are going to be a lot of people upset that it's never either going to come out or just kind of like disappear. But it certainly is one of the games that kind of will define like this era of gaming where so many promising titles come in and out every single year. And lo and behold, so many just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
This summer alone, we already had to watch what was it? The entirety of the games that Xbox was working on the initiative for disappeared. This include Perfect Dark and so many other titles that the AAA space just lost. Now more than ever, developers are starting to realize that not everything can be made. And I think, as I mentioned at the start, if we as the consumer actually knew how many games had ever started development but never got made, it would just be too heartbreaking to see so many fan favorite series or like titles have a development start or have a sequel start development but never finish. And I'm talking about the Halls of Fame, whether it be the Titanfall series to all of the games related to, I guess, Valve that were started development but just crippled away and died. Game development is a risk, and for a lot of people, it's worth fighting just to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I still anticipate that a lot of the games that have been announced will come out, especially in like major game shows. I don't think everything's going to be like seen, but enough. But every so often, even in the darkest of dark pits, games like Silksong come out and say, hey, we still exist. We're still here. We didn't die. Nor, as the common joke for Friday Night Funkin', we didn't spend all the money on crack.
Hey.
And every time you look at the comments of a new update, there are cheers erupting that the developers are sober again.
Yep.
They're back.
Oh man, they're back.
Any other final remarks before we end this episode? I think we had a good time.
I would say, if you're one of those people that think that they cannot make a game because of like the world, just do it.
Yeah.
Just try. Yeah,
Greater
we're
it is
all
to
trying
try
in
than
one
to
way.
just never happen.
Yeah. Also, play Mega Bunk.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I need
Play
to
some
go
Mega
play
Bunk.
so much. I need something to cure my depression following all that.
You need some more. You need some dopamine.
After
Mega
after
Bunk is
that
fun.
game of Katana Zero, I need something I need a pick me up
All right.
in any way. Any final remarks?
Bonk it. Just bonk it.
Bonk it. Bonk it.
Yep. You just keep bonking it.
So be it. So bonk it.
So be it. So bonk it.
Until then, later.
See ya.